What if there was a way to earn a passive income that's safe and reliable? A way that doesn't require you to constantly monitor your investments or worry about market volatility? It'd be great, right? Well, that's where Dividend Kings comes in. So if you're looking here at my screen, these are some of the top dividend ETFs that I hold in one of my portfolios. The great thing about this is Dividend Kings are companies that have a proven track record of increasing their dividend payments for the last 50 consecutive years. These companies are the creme de la creme of the stock market, stable, profitable, and reliable. So the great thing is, the best part, is you can earn a steady stream of passive income by investing in these. So if you look here, the expense ratio 0.38 in this one, 11.63 earnings price to earnings ratio, and a really good dividend that you'll earn from holding all these. So why not let Dividend Kings work for you? Sit back, relax, and enjoy a safe and reliable passive income. Don't forget to design your financial freedom. Take care. Bye-bye.